been a bit chaos. I won't be a minute. Lots of things going on today. And the most funny thing is I forgot my trainers, so I'm in my socks. Apologise. Okay, so today we're going to do our session for ladies, low intensity session just to keep you moving, keep you working those muscle groups that we naturally do when we're out and about moving around, but obviously with things slowing down and being in lockdown, we're not really doing so much of that at the moment. So let's get going. So you need your tins, a chair, so we're going to start off. Oh, lighting's not very good, sorry. Is that better? Not really. So working, you're going to have your hands up around your back of your ears, behind your ears, and you're just going to be turning slowly, just so you have a stable base. You're just doing a bit of rotation, keeping your hips facing forward, getting that spine moving. And you're going to draw circles in the air with your elbows. You might feel a bit of stiffness through your back, but that's okay as long as it's only stiffness, but you're not getting any particular pain. And going the other way, so going backwards. So apologies again for the late start. Lots of things going on today, with the rain kept us indoors. Okay, so we're just getting those moving, we're going backwards. Okay, so standing nice and tall, keep your feet a bit about hip width apart. Let your balance just settle, because sometimes a circular movement can make you feel a little bit kind of all over the place. Okay, so then we're going to just turning your head, so looking over your right shoulder. Take it to the point which you either can't physically go any further, or if it's a bit stiff and you get a bit of discomfort doing that, just go to the point where it starts to become uncomfortable. Pain is not gain, you just take it to the end point of comfort and hold it. And looking forward and repeating the other side. You may find one side a bit stiffer than the other, that's quite common. As long as none of these exercises are bringing on any symptoms or making things any more painful, I'm just going to circle the head. You may get a little bit of popping and clicking, a bit of gristly noises. I can hear them too. But as long as they're not painful, it's just stretching out those joint spaces, getting those muscles, using your movement in a different way from just looking forward. Okay, so just circle shoulders, get everything moving. Okay, so we're going to go to the worktop. We're going to do press-ups against the worktop. So as before, you're going to have your hands about shoulder width apart. You can stand as far or as close to the worktop as you want. Have your feet about hip width apart. If you want it a little bit easier, stand a little bit closer. If you want a little bit of a challenge, step away a bit further. Have your hands on the worktop and you're just lowering your body in a straight line towards the worktop and pushing away. So you're just doing a press up against the worktop. This is getting the upper body doing something, working those muscles in the backs of the arms, the chest, a little bit through your core and your torso, because you've got to keep yourself in a straight line as you're doing it. So a little bit of tummy tightness is useful, so you're bracing yourself ever so slightly. Okay, so as always, we're aiming for about 10. I have to confess, I don't know how many I've done. Okay, I'm very keen to hear any feedback, what people enjoy about what I'm doing, what they think I could do with changing. So please comment or direct message me or email me, info@stonehengeosteopath.co.uk. Sorry. So get your tins in a chair if you need to chair. If you want to do these exercises standing, that's not a problem. It just depends on how comfortable you are and how well balanced you feel. So I'm going to do them sitting to start with, and then I'll probably stand up as we do the second shoulder exercise. So hi Stuart, Valerie and Moya, nice to see you. Tins in your hands. let's use the tins and not do without. Challenge those muscles ever so slightly. Obviously, if they cause any discomfort or pain, put the tins to one side and just do it without. So you're going to do a shoulder press. You're going to have your hands, palms of your hands facing forward. Just going to bring your tins up to meet above your head and back down. So we're going to do 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to stand using the tins still. So we're going to do front raises. So tins, back of the hand towards the ceiling. You're just going to raise the tins up to shoulder height and back down. So if you stand, it's just that little bit more demanding, so it makes you work your lower abs because you need a little bit of tension through there as you're bracing yourself and repeating the exercise. So I've done 3, and as you're doing it as well, you're working your upper back because you're having to hold your arms out in front of you, and often the upper back gets a bit ignored when it comes to exercise and movement, just because when we're sat watching TV on the sofa, at a desk, or even working in the garden, unless you're pulling things up, often the upper back doesn't get a lot to do. So that should be 9, I think, 10. Okay, then we're going to do lateral raises. So thumbs, I thought somebody was saying hello. Thumbs, palms facing forward, thumbs up to the ceiling. So we're going to lead up to shoulder height and back down. If you get any problems with your shoulders and any of these movements are uncomfortable, just take it to the point where the discomfort starts, not where you're in lots of pain. Pain is not gain. I think that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a bit of a shock having the rain today after all that lovely weather we've had. So we're going to go to the worktop. We're going to do a bit of hip strengthening, a little bit of work around the pelvis to help with strength and balance for getting up and out of chairs, off the floor, if you ever do anything on the floor. So like jigsaw puzzles or playing with grandchildren, things like that. Obviously not at the moment. So standing nice and tall, you're going to have the worktop there for support if you need it. You're just going to lift your leg to the side and back ever so slightly. So you're moving at a 45-degree angle from your standing position. So ideally you're going like this and not like this. This isn't the exercise, this is the exercise. So a little bit of tension through your tummy, a little bit of muscular work through your glutes. This can help a great deal with any hip pain that you might get around the side, lateral hip pain they call that, because it helps strengthen that area and balance those muscles ever so slightly, especially for walking or stairs that you might be doing. Okay, so that's well over 10. So repeat on the same side. So a bit of support from the worktop, going at angle 45 degrees behind you. Again, standing nice and tall, slow and controlled. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so just walk a little bit on the spot, let the muscles stretch out ever so slightly. So I'm just going to move some things that have got in my way. We're going to do heel raises, because when you work on overall body strength, we've worked upper back, shoulders, core and abs are involved in an awful lot of what we're doing, especially if we're using our arms and legs and not sat down and you're moving any weights or got your hands away from your body. Your tummy is often working without you necessarily realising it. So we've done thighs, out the glutes, and we're going to work the calf muscles. So standing nice and tall, you're going to do what we call heel raises. So use the worktop for balance, and you're just going to have your feet about hip width apart and come up on the balls of your feet as if you're at tiptoes really. We're going to do 10, If you have nice strong calf muscles, it helps with balance. It supports your ankles, so you feel a bit more stable when you're walking, or if you get caught off guard a little bit with a awkward pedal or uneven surface. Just takes the effort out of the body the stronger that your muscle tone is. I think that's 10. So again, walking on the spot, just get things moving. Lastly, we're going to go to the floor and we're going to work on glutes and the back of the thigh, the hamstring muscles. So you're going to be on all fours. Oops, not a very good position. On all fours, hands underneath your shoulders, knees about hip width apart, and you're just going to lift your foot towards the ceiling. And this is working your low back and your gluteal muscles and your abs, lower tummy muscles, again, your abdominal muscles, because you'll be holding all of that ever so slightly to keep you stable. And change sides. So you can do this on the floor or on the bed if you can't get off the floor very easily. Sometimes if you had operations to your knees or hips, it can make it a bit of a struggle to get up and off the floor. 8, 9, 10. So that's the strengthening exercise we're going to do. Just going to move the chair out of the way, sorry. So lying down, we're going to do stretch out the low back. So lying flat on your back. Bring your knees up to your chest. Hold on to the back of the thighs. You're just going to bring your knees up and you'll feel a little tension through the low back. It shouldn't be painful. It might just feel a bit tight. I'm just going to hold it for sort of 15-25 seconds. Then bring your feet flat onto the floor. Let your knees fall to the one side. Have your hands either side of you at 90 degrees to your body and your head turned away from your knees. So that will stretch out through your low back. Then bring your knees up and let your knees drop the other way. So ideally they should be on top of each other. Now bring your knees up. So we're going to move on to calf stretches. So I want you standing in a lunging position. If you need to use the back of the chair for support, have that there to hand. Your feet want to be about hip width apart, but one foot in front of you so you can see your toes, and the back one with your heel pushed into the floor. And you should feel a stretch down the back of the thigh. Back of the thigh, back of the calf, sorry. Not here, down here. Okay, so holding that for about 15-20 seconds. And then change feet. Okay, so then you should feel a stretch down the back of the calf. Like I said earlier, you may find one side is tighter than the other. Sorry about me missing trainers, I couldn't find them in time for my session today. The fun of children. Okay, so chest stretch. You're going to have your hand placed onto your bottom. And you're just going to bring your elbows back behind you. They may or may not meet, it doesn't matter. It's only that action to stretch out the front of the chest. Okay, and all the stretches you hold for 15 to 20 seconds, or longer if it feels comfortable. It's a nice thing to do and gives you any relief. Lastly, we're going to move on to balance. So balance, depending, I've had a couple of conversations with people about balance. Some people, the standing on one leg may be too much. So you start with your feet about hip width apart and bring your feet in together. If that feels okay, then bring your arms in and see if that changes anything. Making sure you've got something near you for reassurance if you need it. Either have a chair or stand side onto a worktop so you've got somewhere to fall into if you need to, just so you can reassure yourself. And if that's quite easy, then lift your feet. Okay? So you're aiming for to be able to hold it comfortably for 20-25 seconds. It's not uncommon to have to start much less than that. If you find that actually you're beyond this, but that's a little bit too much, just have your fingers lightly rested on the work surface. And then change feet. So you want to make sure your balance is equal both sides. Good balance is key in being able to walk easily. The better your balance is, the less work your body has to do to work out where your limbs are in space. So when you're walking, there's less risk of you falling. So the better balance you have, the more stable you are when you're moving around. Okay, so lastly, we're just going to do the hip hike. So either rest your toe on the floor or lift your foot up and let your hip drop out to the side. And then you're going to lift your hip to bring your pelvis level. So it's one key, bring it up so you're tall and straight. This works these muscles through the back of the pelvis and makes all the nerves have to really read where your body is in space. So all the way down the nervous system, your messaging system is working hard to make sure everything is functioning as well as it can. Change feet. Rest your toe if you prefer to, or lift your foot up. Let your hip drop. Have your chair there if you just want that reassurance. Then bring your pelvis up to be level. Sorry, just a bit close to the chair. And then drop. And then back up again. So this is working all these muscles and keeping your pelvis working really hard, but hopefully within your comfort zone. So thank you very much for attending today and watching my video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me, info@stonehengeosteopath.co.uk. So I was going to say as well, just to remind you that none of the exercises you do here should make you feel uncomfortable or provoke any more pain, and should not bring any symptoms on. If you're getting anything you're concerned about, please contact me or your healthcare provider and talk it through. Okay, take care. Thank you. Till Tuesday.